Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Varsha Gandikota Nallutla, and I'm the Co-General Coordinator of the Progressive International, and I'll be chairing today's public briefing. This is a historic moment. In her opening remarks, as you would have seen on the hearing, South African Senior Counsel Adila Hassim said, "This is a case that underscores the very essence of our shared humanity." And Adila Hassim is right. This is not a case of South Africa versus Israel. It's not even a case of Israel versus Palestine. It's a test of the humanity of the world and whether the institutions that we've built to protect it, and today this court, The Hague, will withstand the test of Western impunity. Every single person who was in that room, who witnessed today's hearing, is left in no doubt that we're reading, when we looked at the South African case, that we were reading the most frightening document of our time and hearing evidence to the most gruesome, the most illegal genocidal assault, and bearing witness to the most audacious violations of international law. So in bringing this case to The Hague, South Africa has done what the rest of us failed to do. In doing so, it has issued a resounding call to the world to break once and for all, with no bounds, with the violent history of colonialism. But most importantly, it has put the International Court of Justice itself on trial. So today, the state of Israel has been brought to The Hague to be held to account. Implicitly present also in the room were its backers, the US, the UK, the European Union, and every state in the Western world which is implicated in the genocide of the Palestinian people. So these hearings, which will determine, of course, whether there are immediate protections that are given, but also will determine whether the Genocide Convention and with it our idea of international law will survive. Or will these judges sacrifice it along with our shared humanity? So today's public briefing, thank you so much for attending. We'll have two parts, one in collaboration with the South African delegation. We'll hear from the South African Minister of Justice, followed by any questions that you may have about the legalities of the case, which will be taken by Zane Dangor, who is the Director General of the South African Foreign Ministry. Following that, we'll have a second plenary with international delegates, Jeremy Corbyn, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, Ada Colau, Gerardo Pisarello, and Peter Mertens, who will bring their messages from the world to The Hague. Thank you. With that, I hand the floor to the Minister of Justice from South Africa.
The government of the Republic of South Africa, led by His Excellency President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, entrusted me with representing its commitment to the just rule of law, a universal respect for human rights, and specifically the right of the Palestinian people to sovereignty, to peace, and to life. We thank our legal team for having able presented our case in a cogent manner, and we believe they've presented a compelling case before the ICJ. We also thank the court for granting the opportunity to the South African government an opportunity to present its case in real time. We believe this will be impactful, will be able to intervene in real time for the people of Palestine. Since the advent of our democracy in 1994, South Africa's foreign policy has been based on what our forebears inscribed in the Freedom Charter in 1955, when they declared that, and I quote, "South Africa shall be a fully independent state, with respect the right and the sovereignty of all nations. South Africa shall strive to maintain world peace and the settlement of all international disputes by negotiations and not war." Close quote. South Africa has supported various resolutions of the United Nations and other international solutions to support a just and a lasting solution that will bring peace to Palestinians and Israelis alike. Working together with the international community and in alignment with the relevant UN resolutions and the international law, South Africa seeks to ensure a lasting and durable peace that produces a viable, contiguous Palestinian state, coexisting side by side in peace with Israel, within the 1967 international recognized borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Our president has called for a ceasefire and a humanitarian intervention on numerous occasions in international platforms. Our foreign policy is aimed at improving the well-being, safety, and prosperity of all citizens and the achievement of a better Africa and the world. The key pillars of our foreign policy include the promotion of human rights, peace, and stability, and the strengthening of trade and investment ties with other countries. The world has watched in horror as Palestinian men, women, and children were slaughtered, blown up, alive under the rubble of their homes, left to die painful deaths in unresourced hospitals, resulting in over 23,000 deaths through destruction to homes, schools, hospitals, and other public infrastructure that impairs the conditions of life and is calculated to bring about the destruction in whole parts of the Palestinians living in Gaza. With the recent escalation of aggression of Israel in Gaza, South Africa has supported a UN resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire and the provision of humanitarian aid. Sadly, the world has not succeeded in stopping the genocide that is currently unfolding in Gaza. The international community has largely remained passive in response to these atrocities. Women and children in areas such as refugee camps, schools, and hospitals have been targeted, leading to a humanitarian crisis. We saw unequivocally the UN Secretary General invoking a rarely used article of the United Nations Charter, Article 99. The Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the 6th of December 2023 called on the Security Council to press to avert a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza and unite in a call for a full humanitarian ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants. This plea for Ubuntu, a plea for the humanity of the international community to prevail, was simply ignored. Israel's institutional impunity was reinforced. This court must stop Israel exceptionalism. In keeping with our obligations as a state party to the Genocide Convention, our government has approached the International Court of Justice to prevent the unfolding genocide in Gaza. We have also asked for provisional measures which include an immediate suspension of Israel military operation in and around Gaza. The commitment to justice and bring an end to humanitarian atrocities in Palestine resonate deeply with the collective consciousness of the global community. The scale of these actions is reminiscent of the Rwandan genocide 30 years ago. We are here on behalf of South Africa and the global community to seek justice for the victims, particularly children, women, and the elderly. We believe that without the intervention of this court, of the international community, we will see the total destruction of the Palestinian people in Gaza. Remaining silent in the face of this, in and of itself, will be a gross violation of international law. We are seeking the court to intervene and to stop the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Today, it is common cause that the Rwanda genocide could have been prevented. Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan expressly regretted this when he said, and I quote, "The international community failed Rwanda, and that must leave us always with a sense of bitter regret and abiding sorrow." Close quote. Rwanda stands out as a stern and a severe rebuke to all of us for having failed to address these interrelated matters. Let us not have to live and have the same regret when it comes to Palestine. We must stop the genocide in real time. This case presents the court with an opportunity to act in real time to prevent genocide from continuing in Gaza by issuing an injunction. South Africa is a multifaceted, multicultural, and multiracial country that embraces the concept of Ubuntu as a way of who we are and how we relate to others. Ubuntu means I am because you are. I am because Hamza al-Dadu is. You are because Dania Ab Moheseni is. The philosophy of Ubuntu means humanity and is reflected in the idea that we affirm our humanity when we affirm the humanity of others. It has played a major role in the forging of South African national consciousness and in the process of its democratic transformation and nation building. Our history is one of repression and violence, human rights abuses, apartheid as a crime against humanity, discrimination and distrust between people born on the same soil. This history enjoins us to stand in principle in solidarity with the people of Palestine. Because our history is one marked by crimes against humanity, the recent horrific scenes of the city of Gaza being transformed into a mass burial ground haunt our minds. The alarming sight of jubilant armed forces rejoicing the chants who are finishing off Gaza is an act among several others. Thorough examination by the court, the honorable court that we're in. The actions taken by Israel against the Palestinians are considered by many state parties, including the state of Palestine itself, to be in breach of the Genocide Convention. Palestine has expressed grave concern over the international system's incapability to prevent acts of genocide against its people and has urgently called for actions to halt such acts. The uncompromising enforcement of the rule of law must be used to cease the ongoing atrocities in Gaza Strip. This case is about asserting the international rule of law. Our distinguished team of lawyers has expanded our case before the Honorable Court. The timeless words spoken by Martin Luther King, they ring real today. And that is what we call for the court to do when he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Hold true now more than ever before. The esteemed institution has an opportunity not only to reaffirm but also to strengthen humanity's commitment to justice. This can be achieved by infusing the Genocide Convention with vibrancy and bringing it to life. We trust that after hearing us presenting the facts, the legal arguments, truth, the court will grant the protection we seek in real time and on an urgent basis. The injunction is relevant. I want to conclude again by quoting Martin Luther when he said, "The arch of the moral of the universe is long, always bending towards justice. There shall be justice for the people of Palestine." Thank you.
Are you confident after the hearing of today?
We're going to do questions right at the end. Give us 4 more minutes and we're going to do questions. I'd like to invite Jean-Luc Mélenchon to the stage.
Jean-Luc.
Je crois exprimer l'opinion générale de ceux qui se sont associés ce matin et de très nombreux militants qui sont là et les millions de personnes qui verront nos vidéos en disant de tout cœur 1 million de fois merci à l'Afrique du Sud, à son gouvernement qui a ramené dans une situation honteuse l'humanité sur le devant de la scène. Ici, nous sommes dans une cour de justice d'un ordre international imparfait, c'est certain, d'un droit international incomplet, c'est certain, mais du droit, de la loi et non pas de la loi du plus fort.
I think I speak for everyone here as well as the millions of people around the world in saying thank you to South Africa for bringing this case to the Court of International Justice. This is a court which is for international law, and imperfect as it is, it upholds and protects international law.
Ce matin a été plaidé très brillamment le fait que la Cour peut décider des mesures conservatoires immédiates. Je me rends compte de la responsabilité morale qu'ont à ce moment les juges qui ont à prendre cette décision. Mais d'eux dépend le fait que l'humanité tout entière, le peuple humain tout entier, reprenne confiance dans le fait qu'il existe mieux que la loi du plus fort, c'est la loi du plus humain.
Bravo. This morning, it was brilliantly played by the team of South Africa at the International Court of Justice, pleading for humanity, for the universal rights of everyone, for all of humanity, and it is a case for to overcome the law of the strongest, or the law of the mightiest, of the clash of civilizations. This is for upholding international law and humanity for all, universal
La loi
human
humaine.
rights.
Ok. That's all. Ah, mais... Ça va?
C'était très bien.
Hein?
Très bien.
Bravo.
I've been asked to speak up, so I will. First of all, thank you everyone for coming today at this massive media briefing at the end of the presentation by South Africa this morning. I just want to put on record my great thanks to the Republic of South Africa for having the courage to take the case on in the first place, to bring it here to the International Court of Justice, and thank all those other governments around the world that have joined in the case of pointing out that the bombardment of children, of civilians, of schools, of hospitals, of homes, of agricultural places, and the driving of the population of Gaza into places they were told were safe and turn out to be incredibly dangerous. The bravery of them in bringing the case and the world hearing it today is something that I think we should all thank South Africa for. Secondly, in presenting the case, they did it in non-sensational terms. They went in detail through the history of the Genocide Convention and how it came about after the horrors of the Second World War and other genocides that have taken place, and pointed out that what is happening in Gaza is an attack against the population of Gaza as a whole. That is where the Genocide Convention comes in. But these things don't come from nowhere. Israel's weapons are being supplied by the United States with the support of many European countries, including my own. And the demonstrations in support of the people of Palestine all around the world are getting bigger and bigger. The world has woken up to the plight of the Palestinian people, and it's taken the loss of 30,000 lives for the world to wake up at last. I hope that the interim orders that have been requested by the South African delegation this morning will be granted, and there will be a demand that the bombardment of Gaza cease. But in the meantime, those powerful governments that supply Israel with its weapons can also make that demand for a ceasefire and assist that by stopping the supply of those weapons that are being used to kill so many people in Gaza. I want to conclude by saying this. Thank people all over the world for speaking up for the Palestinian people, speaking up for their rights, for their justice, and for their culture, and our horror at everything that's happened, including the almost year zero strategy of the Israeli Defense Force in bombing all the archaeological remains that are there in Gaza. But also to say thank you to those people in Israel that have spoken out against the war in Gaza, those people in Israel that have spoken out against the occupation of Palestine, because they too want to live in a world of peace and freedom. Today has been a great day in the sense that the world has heard in detailed terms the illegality of what's going on. I'll be on the streets of London on Saturday. I hope there'll be demonstrations all around the world on Saturday saying, bring peace, bring justice, bring hope to the people of Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Peter Martins from the... Introduce yourself, Peter.
I'm Peter, I'm a member of the Belgian Parliament, and today I am from the Workers' Party of Belgium, and today in the Belgian Parliament there will be a debate whether Belgium will follow the example of South Africa. And I think there is two main reasons for that. We have to thank the South African government for its action and for its call for humanity, because this case is not only a case for Palestinians, this is a case for humanity all over the world. And secondly, I have to thank also all activists, all democracy lovers, all people on the streets that are sounding the voice of Palestinian people, because if we put pressure on the governments, and we have to put pressure on the European governments to take some actions, not only in this court, but also on the economical level, an economic embargo, a military embargo, we have to put pressure also from Europe. So thank you very much to the South African delegation. Thank you very much all activists for Palestine, all activists for humanity. Thank you with all of my heart. Free Palestine! No, not that. Those two.
Free Palestine. Now for our last two speakers, I'd like to invite
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
The next two speakers are coming to us from Spain, Ada Colau and Gerardo Pisarello. First to the floor, Ada Colau. Thank you.
Thank you. Probably you know that in November, Barcelona became the first big city in Europe that suspends relations with Israel government. And we suspend relations with Israel government, not with Jewish people. It's not about Jewish people, it's Israel government of Netanyahu, because it's committing genocide against Palestinian people. And we are here to say, stop the genocide. Because after thousands and thousands of innocent people murdered, children, women, doctors, journalists, innocent people, civilians, we will not be silent. We take sides for human rights. And today we stand with Palestinian people because we defend humanity. It's not only about Palestinian rights, it's about humanity. In Gaza, the world system of human rights, the world system of United Nations is in crisis. It's about our future, it's about hope. Today, I want to thank South Africa government. Thank you very much. It's really important, this initiative. And now here we call all the countries, and especially Spanish government, to join South Africa initiative. Today, here in this court, in this International Court of Justice, we want to tell to the Palestinian people, to the journalists like Motaz, I want to say you, Palestinian people, journalists of Palestine, of Gaza, we see you, and we know. So, we call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire now. Stop genocide in Gaza, not in our name. Ceasefire now. Thank you.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
For our last speaker, I'd like to invite Gerardo Pisarello to the floor, please. Thank you.
My name is Gerardo Pisarello. I'm a member of the Spanish Parliament, and today I want to start thanking South Africa for honoring Nelson Mandela's legacy of people's solidarity against repression. Today I want to thank South Africa for reminding the world that it cannot remain silent in front of the atrocities that are taking place across Gaza. In the last week, Isaac Herzog, President of Israel, has said that Palestine as a nation is responsible for the massacre going on. Many Israeli officers have also insisted that a war to force civilians to leave Gaza is the best way to act. This is outrageous. As member of European Parliament, we have to insist that bombing babies and children has nothing to do with self-defense. As member of European Parliament, we have to insist that systematically bombing hospitals and killing health workers has nothing to do with self-defense. These are not just war crimes. These are crimes of genocide. There are thousands of Palestinian and Jewish activists politicians, lawyers, rabbis all over the world denouncing these crimes. The moment to act is now. In Spain, President Pedro Sánchez has already condemned the bombings in Gaza. Now we need him to move from words to action. So we, as members of the new coalition government in Spain, urge the government to demand a permanent and immediate ceasefire in Gaza, to end arms trade with Israel, and to support South Africa's genocide case against Israelis. That's what President Lula from Brazil has done. That's what President Petro from Colombia has done. Spain has to do it also. As Primo Levi, Holocaust survivor, said, in the face of evil, we must strive to remain human. For the sake of Jews and Palestinians who crave peace and coexistence, we need to stop the genocide in Gaza immediately. If not us, who? If not now, when? Free Palestine.
Thank you, everyone. We'll take about 10 minutes of questions now, and that will be the end of the press. So thank you so much to all of the speakers, and especially to the South African delegation who's been working very hard this week, and we put them to more work at this presses. So thank you.
My question,
Yes.
Mr. Priest, are you confident that after today's hearing, the ICJ will take some of the measures we are asking for?
Yes, we believe we have presented a case for the court. We have presented evidence, facts. We also presented the statements of the authorities of Israel, the Prime Minister of Israel statements, the President of Israel, Defense Minister of Israel, the ground forces and the generals of the Israel Defense Force, and the ministers of energy, which are clearly in violation of the Genocide Convention. So I believe that we have given the court enough to make the provisional injunction that we are requesting the court to do.
Any other questions? That's it. All right.
No, it's clear.
Thank you.
We love you from all people of Palestine.
Yes.
Okay, and what do you expect of the court? Can the court take a decision tomorrow after the end of the session, or what do you expect as a...
Yeah, obviously, we do not want to preempt the outcomes of the court. We will leave that to the court to decide. But we believe that we have presented, as I've said earlier, a compelling case. And we also believe that we have also made an impression to the court that the court needs to make a decision in real time and urgently, because the bombardment is continuing. So it will be prudent for the court to issue the injunction as urgently as is practically possible, also in a manner that will have an impact to the lives of Palestinian people as a matter of urgency. Thank you.
Do you have support from the Arab and the Muslim states? Because I don't hear anything about from the Arab states and the Muslim states. What about them? Do you have any support? Because the people in this country are very supportive of your case. So what about the Arab leaders and the Muslim leaders?
So we heard the Arab League yesterday made a decision to support the case, the entire Arab League.
The Arab League, okay, great.
Also previously, the Organization of Islamic Countries had also come out in support, and that Jordan has indicated that they would be supporting and intervening in the case at some point. So we do expect some more countries from the OIC and from the Arab League to support openly in the next few weeks.
What about Iran's support?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
What about Iran's support?
That's the word.
Yeah. Thank you.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Hey, with the blow shot.
Free!
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Free
In the US. Thank you.
Free Palestine!
Free
Palestine!
Our live stream regime was horrible, but do we at least have, yeah, there was a Telesur mic here, that's why. Who's here from Telesur?
Anyone here from Telesur? Telesur?
Anyone here from Telesur? Maybe he's gone that side. I'm not sure.